Welcome to Crimepedia. I am your host. I am Morgan. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And with me, as always, is my true crime BFF. It's the lovely Cherry.
Hello. I like that. My
Hello,
true crime
Cherry.
BFF. Hello.
You excited?
Oh, I am. excited. I'm really excited. It won't be long. 3 more sleeps.
Well, as of this recording, 3 more sleeps until CrimeCon Las Vegas.
Yes. At the time of this being released, it'll be only 1 more sleep.
Yes.
How exciting. It's not long.
By the time some of you have listened to this, me and Cherry have met for the very first time ever, and it was wonderful.
Yay. It was great. You're so much taller than I thought.
Watch, we get back and we're like, hey guys, listen, we met and it's not going to work out. So
We're
this
not
is the
doing
last
the podcast
episode
anymore. Yeah. Oh God, how sad would that be? Can you imagine? Oh my God.
No, that will not happen.
That would never happen. No.
That would not happen. Yeah. So CrimeCon Las Vegas is finally upon us.
I know.
So,
I feel like we've been talking about it for years. Like it feels like it has been like a year because we signed up last year. So it's been a year for us waiting to happen. So it has been quite a long time. But I'm really excited.
People are probably excited that we're finally going to stop talking about it.
Probably.
Like, yes.
Like, for God's sake, that's enough. We don't care.
That's enough. Yeah.
We're literally going to spam Instagram as well with pictures, I would imagine. So watch out for that if you're bored of it already.
Yep. Well, since CrimeCon Vegas is upon us, I guess next thing we have to look forward to is CrimeCon London, which is happening in June, right?
Yeah.
Is it June 10th or no?
Yeah, 11th and 12th.
11th and 12th. Yeah, June 11th and 12th. So if you are interested in going to that, tickets are still available. You can use our promo code Crimepedia and you could join us at CrimeCon London.
And we know that there's going to be some very, very interesting people at CrimeCon London. We know that if you're hot for holes, there's a chance you could be stood next to him in the lift. But obviously, being English, we're all Team Sutton. And there's even more chance that you're going to stand next to him in the lift because he is a super nice guy. And he'll chat to you about, if you've ever seen any of Colin's TV programs, he'll chat to you quite happily about all the TV programs that he's done, the cases that he's done. He's a super interesting guy. So there are quite a few people that you'll meet there that you will literally be just rubbing shoulders with. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, one thing I'm definitely going to make sure you go and see is the interactive crime scene. There is an interactive crime scene at CrimeCon UK. So anyone that's participating, anyone that's there can go and have a go, and you can actually see how good your skills are. So that's a really fun part of CrimeCon UK. Yeah, it's brilliant. So definitely make sure if you get tickets for that, make sure that you're there for that part of it because it's brilliant. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, unless there's any other news, how about we hop into this week's case?
Yeah, let's go.
It was the early morning hours of Palm Sunday, 2003. Residents and guests at 64 East 17th Avenue were settling down for bed after enjoying the evening celebrating a 21st birthday. Without warning, smoke and fire ripped through the 3-story house, leaving 3 people severely injured and 5 people dead. Investigators would determine that the fire was not accidental and had been purposely set. So that left a question: who set the fire and why? This is Crimepedia, and this is the Arson on 17th. All right, Cherry, on the evening of Saturday, April 12th, 2003, between 70 and 80 people attended a party at 64 East 17th Avenue, a 3-story yellow brick off-campus house just east of the Ohio State University campus in Columbus, Ohio. They were there to celebrate the 21st birthday of Alan Schleisman, an Ohio State student from Sandusky, Ohio. While there were no issues for most of the night, at some time between 3:15 a.m. and 3:30 a.m., an argument broke out in the alleyway behind the house, but it was quickly dispersed. At this point, most of the guests had left, and those who remained were either the residents or were staying as overnight guests.
Ooh.
Just before 4 a.m., a 911 call was made by a passerby to report a fire at the home. When firefighters arrived on the scene at 4:05 a.m., they found the house burning furiously. Firefighters were able to enter the house and rescue 3 unconscious students from the second floor before the fire flashed and caused conditions inside the house to worsen. It would take nearly 100 firefighters roughly an hour to get the fire under control. The fire was so intense that smoke and heat would wake up a neighbor who lived across the street.
Oh, wow.
The fire would also cause damage to a house and an apartment building, which were directly next to it. The roof on the east side of the apartment building would collapse from fire damage. Now, in addition to the 3 occupants rescued by firefighters, an additional 6 were able to escape on their own. According to one of the residents, Matthew Brown, he was awoken to an unknown person banging on his door. He and a friend had been sleeping in his room on the 3rd floor and had failed to hear the smoke alarms. All 3 were able to escape out the rear of the house using the fire escape. Once the fire was contained, it was discovered that 5 occupants of the home were unable to escape the fire. 3 of the victims were visiting female students from Ohio University in Athens and were all members of the Alpha Gamma Delta sorority. They were 20-year-old Andrea Dennis of Madeira, Ohio, 19-year-old Aaron DeMarco of Canton, Ohio, and 19-year-old Christine Wilson of Dublin, Ohio. The 2 other victims were Ohio State students and residents of the home, 20-year-old Kyle Rowland of Westchester, Ohio, and 21-year-old Alan Schleisman.
Oh, wow.
All 5 victims were found on the 2nd floor of the house, 4 of which were located together in the same bedroom. According to the coroner, it appeared as though they may have been attempting to escape from the fire when they were overcome by the smoke.
Ooh.
Tests would show that the 5 who died had been drinking, but not enough to hinder their escape.
Oh.
So they had all been drinking.
But not enough to be like catatonic.
That's correct. And that kind of goes along with one of the victims did, prior to the fire, called a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was also a student at Ohio University in Athens, and called and said, "Yeah, I had a few drinks, but I'm not drunk." So that kind of goes along with what she had told the boyfriend. Now, North Step Realty Inc., the manager of the property, stated that the house was equipped with 6 single-station fire detectors, which were properly working at the time of the fire. Now, the house was not equipped with an automatic fire sprinkler system.
Okay. Is that usual then? Are most houses fitted? No. Okay.
Not in these houses. So these houses, these off-campus houses are basically retrofitted to become apartments.
Right. Okay.
So at one point they were like single-family homes.
Right.
And over the years, they've
been switched up.
Yeah, these management groups have come in and they have basically turned them into apartments.
Right.
So they try to make as many, many spaces in the home available for people to stay. I think this particular home had 13 residents at the time.
Oh God, that's loads.
And so the rooms were separated between. There were basement rooms. They had bedrooms on the 1st floor, 2nd floor, in the 3rd floor. And the 3rd floor is really an attic that had been converted into bedrooms.
Wow. Okay.
Now,
packing them in there.
They do. They do this with many of these homes. They try to get, and as college students, you want to have as many roommates as possible because it's expensive.
Yeah, of course. That's right.
I mean, I remember when I lived on campus. So where I lived on campus at Ohio State, it was probably, 15-minute walk from this location.
Yeah.
We only had, we had 3 people. It was like a duplex. We had 3 people on my side, 3 people on the other side. And I think
duplex here is a bit like a bungalow kind of thing because we don't have duplexes here.
Yeah. So it's
just explain what that is.
Okay, so duplex is basically it's a larger home that really has been split into two right
Mm-hmm.
down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so in our duplex, our one side of the duplex, we actually had 2 bedrooms, and then we had like a basement area that we had someone staying in. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're basically like mirror images of the two sides. And so we had 3 on our side, 3 people on the other side. And at the time, as a college student, I think we were paying like it's ridiculous now. I think we paid like $250 a month for it a
Mm.
person,
Yeah.
which
Still a
now I'm
lot
like, oh my
though.
god. Well, no, and now I'm like, I would love to only have to pay $250 a month,
Yeah, that's
for a
right.
place.
Yeah.
But as a college student, $250 a month was,
It's a lot.
you're not, you're not working full time. You have a part time job. It's a lot. So the more people you have in one space,
Yeah.
the less you're gonna be paying.
So when you split it down the middle, can you like go from one side to the other, or are they completely separate? So one side is
No, they're
completely separate to the
completely,
other.
yeah,
Right.
completely
Okay.
separate. So you'd
Okay.
have to exit one
Yeah.
side
You couldn't go through into the
outside
other
and
house.
then go on the other side. That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now this one, if I'm not mistaken, it was one whole house with just rooms separated.
Right.
And at some point, I know that they actually did extend on to the back of the home.
Okay.
And there was, like I said, there was a fire escape, but it was only in the back.
Right.
Now, the 5 victims who were unable to get out, they were located in the front of the room or front of the house.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the ability. There was no fire escape out the front or the sides, just the back.
Oh God.
So with how bad the fire is and how much smoke there was, they had no chance at all.
Just couldn't get out.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's really sad. It
is really sad.
Yeah.
There should be some sort of like rule there that, like, I know that here the building regulations are sometimes if you've got a building that doesn't have a fire escape, like upstairs, if there's no fire escape can be built, they have these like roll down ladders that you open the window. The window is a certain window that you can unhitch it and it'll open wide, and then you roll this like fabric ladder down and you can get down through that. That should just be mandatory, shouldn't it, in all houses where where you can't get, there's no other way of getting out. There should be those really in every house, I think.
No, absolutely.
Because that would be crazy that you just can't get out.
Mm-hmm. No, it's absolutely crazy. Now the thing with this fire too is where most of them were, like I said, in the front of the house. This house does have a porch, which has a roof, so it's a roof porch.
Yeah,
which you have your front windows.
Yeah,
you can open the windows and get out onto that roof.
Right.
But the problem is where this fire had started and where it really was. It basically was right at the porch. So there's no way that they would have been able to escape out that way either.
So they couldn't get out there either. Blimey.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy.
No. I mean, when you consider that the person across the street could feel the heat from the fire.
Yeah.
It was a bad fire.
That's intense, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Now, investigators on scene would consider the fire suspicious. And just 3 days after the fire, at a joint press conference between Columbus Fire and Columbus Police, it was announced that all natural and accidental causes of the fire had been ruled out and that the fire was being investigated as an arson and the deaths as homicides.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now, investigators would determine that the area of origin was a couch, which was located on the exterior of the home on the front porch.
So that's where it started, on the porch, on the outside of the home.
On the outside of the home, yes.
And they're all inside, obviously.
That's correct. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, you're probably wondering, like, why is there a couch on the front porch?
Yeah.
Well,
I was kind of thinking student homes. I'm kind of thinking sometimes students do chuck stuff.
They do.
And they are like messy, aren't they? So I'm thinking something's happened and they've thrown the couch on the porch. So if you had said it on a normal family home, I wouldn't have thought I would have thought that was weird. But with a student home, the couch on the porch probably isn't that weird.
Yeah. Prior to this, it was a thing to have a couch, or porch couches, right?
Okay.
In my house, we had a couch. We had 2 couches. Yeah, we had couches on.
Are we talking like proper actual inside couches outside?
Yes.
Though? Oh, we are. They're not like porch couches then, special ones. Oh,
no,
okay.
they are inside couches outside.
Oh, okay. right?
I mean, and usually
Weird.
they're not the nicest couches. They're gross. They're dirty, disgusting.
Do you sit on them, or they're just there?
No, we sat on them.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
weird.
yeah. It. I don't know why we did it. Now the other thing too is when you have these large house parties, a lot of people will take furniture out of like the front room area and
Yeah.
put it outside so that you have room for like things like dancing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But after this fire, I know that on campus they actually banned couches from being on the front porch.
I'm not surprised because they look a bit of a state, don't they? They don't make it look great, do they? You got a couch on them.
No, they don't, and they became a hazard. I mean, not even this fire. A lot of times these couches would end up in the middle of streets on fire.
Oh, really? Oh, because of
Because
people getting drunk and being
and
stupid
just
and
doing stupid
yeah.
things. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I remember I remember clearly a couch being lit on fire in the middle of the street, on the street that I lived on, like right down the street from us, like right in the middle of the street.
Serious?
It was just lit on fire. Yeah.
People are weird,
Because
aren't
college
they?
kids are
Stupid.
not, yeah, they're not the smartest sometimes.
No, they're not. No.
They,
Academically, they might be, but generally, not so much.
no, especially when drinking comes into play.
Yeah, that's right. And silly games,
things
and
that
and stuff.
think awesome.
Yeah.
Like that sounds awesome. Let's grab a couch and burn it.
Not so much when you're sober.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I find interesting is the fact that they did state specifically that all natural or accidental causes of the fire had been ruled out.
Okay.
Which means, so that would take out the thought that someone, fell asleep on the couch and might have had a cigarette and, caught on fire.
Okay.
Now, at some point, I do remember hearing, hearing that an accelerant had been put on the couch before it was lit on fire.
Right.
But in actually going through this case and looking into different reports, I have not been able to find anything that can confirm that.
Okay.
I still believe an accelerant had been used, because if you can take out all natural and accidental causes,
exactly. Something
there has to be an accelerant that was used.
Yeah. And like you say, it actually doesn't sound so weird now, because like you said, there were couches that were set on fire as like pranks and silliness. So it sounds like, so far from what you've said, that this could be a prank that's gone horribly wrong.
It could have been, but I don't think. I find it difficult to believe that someone. Maybe I have too much trust in people to think that someone couldn't see the danger in catching a couch on fire when it's on someone's porch.
People do stupid things though when they've been drinking. I mean, I've got friends that did ridiculously, like, oh, let's jump off of here when they've been drinking. And it's like, well, no, because you're going to die. Why would you do that? No, it's fine. Like, oh, I've done this before. And you're like, no, get down. You have not done that before. You're going to break your legs at least. So get down. But, when they're not drinking, they would never do something like that. So I think that sometimes all sense goes out the window, and all sense of danger goes out the window for it, Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did it thinking it was fun or funny.
Yeah.
I
mean, especially when you consider the number of people. No, I said initially there were 70 to 80 people. That was like the initial number.
Yeah.
Later on, there were reports of it might have been anywhere up to like 200 people. I mean, it was.
Jeez.
These like campus parties get absolutely insane. And it's hard to imagine, like, okay, where you put all these people.
Yeah.
When there's actually, so if you were to look at the house, and actually if you look at it now, if you go in the back, there's no real backyard or back garden.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been completely black. It's just blacktop. So they do this so that you have parking right in the back.
Oh, okay.
And so they'll move their cars, and so basically the whole front, the whole house, the whole back, it's just packed with people.
Wow.
And this would not be unusual for the area.
I'm so glad I didn't go to that. That's really not my kind of thing.
I mean, I went to these things, and so what you would do is, if it's Friday night, Saturday night, especially if you're under 21 and you can't drink,
Yeah.
walk around the area and you find these house parties. Like,
What?
and then you just walk
go to
in.
one? Oh, you go to one you don't even know people.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Serious?
yeah. Because if you have that many people there, who's gonna question who you are?
What happens if you bump into the person that like lives there and they're like, "Who are you?"
We did.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And we just hang out with them. Start talking to them, chatting them up.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. It is insane.
It is. Like, it's really
Because
dangerous.
it is
I
extremely
say it as an
dangerous.
adult. That's like really
You
dangerous.
don't know who's coming to your
No.
house. You don't know what these people are. You don't know what their intent is.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't even know who the people are that you're there with. You have no idea.
You have that
of
many
these people's
people.
backgrounds.
You don't know. You have people wandering through your house, right?
God.
Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy. There's no I went to college. I've never ever had a house party at home. Even as an adult, no way is that shit happening in my house. I'm not having people because people get drunk and then they do stupid things like, oh yeah, let's just tip my drink in your plant. No, it's not happening in my house.
Yeah.
No, I don't even have family parties in my house. Not happening. No.
No,
I like my house way too much.
After we're done recording this episode, I will tell you at least one story of like one of my house parties.
Okay.
I won't. And if you want to hear, if you're listening, and you want to hear the story, and you have to ask me in person, and I will tell you about it. I'm not going to tell it on the podcast. I will tell it in person. So I will tell you about at least one, and it's. I think it's typical of what you would expect at one of these things. So.
Okay. Oh God.
Now, in July 2003, police would release a description of a person of interest who they wish to speak to. They were described as a white male, roughly 20 years old, 5'11" wearing
pretty much most of the people on campus. Like that's like
exactly.
It's not like it's a grown man with a beard or something who's in his 50s. It's a 20-something-year-old male.
Oh no, exactly, right. They said he weighed approximately 200 pounds. He had medium length, shaggy blonde hair, and on the night of the fire, now this is where it gets specific. Okay. On the night of the fire, he was wearing a jean jacket with a Snoop Dogg logo on it and the letters SDC printed underneath.
Oh, okay. So that is a bit specific then. Friends of his would know somebody that was wearing that jacket. Okay.
Yep. Now, investigators believe that the man had been involved in the altercation that occurred prior to the fire and had attempted a theft near the house on the same night.
Right. So he looks like a bit of a baddie then.
Exactly. It was believed that this person of interest had later returned that evening and had set the fire.
God. So that sounds now much more like a revenge. He's done it on purpose because he was pissed at the people, in the house. Yeah. And now it doesn't sound so much pranky. It sounds a bit more sinister.
Yep, exactly.
That's crazy, isn't it? Knowing full well you're going to kill people. That's not right.
Yep. Now, 2 weeks after the release of the description, Columbus police announced that an arrest had been made in the arson. After receiving 3 tips through the Crime Stoppers hotline, police would bring in 20-year-old Robert Lucky Patterson for questioning.
Okay.
What's crazy is, so this is how good their description was. Robert Lucky Patterson on his driver's license, he was 20 years old. He was listed at 5'11".
No way.
And on his license plate, driver's license, he was listed at 200 pounds.
No way. That's really
they were
good.
Spot
on, yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. Now, after a 3.5-hour interview, Patterson would be arrested and charged with 5 counts of aggravated murder, 3 counts of attempted aggravated murder, and 9 counts of aggravated arson. In searching his apartment, investigators were able to find the jean jacket they believed the suspect had been wearing on the night of the fire.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Now, detectives would interview Patterson several times, and he agreed to take a polygraph test, but police would not discuss the results. While Patterson never confessed to the arson, investigators would state that he would make statements that implicated himself in the fire, and he would express remorse at the event. Police would state that they had witnesses who were able to place him in the area on the night of the 13th, stealing car stereos.
Oh, so they did say that, didn't they? They thought it was theft beforehand.
Yes. Yep.
That makes
now,
sense.
On August 4th, 2003, Robert Patterson would make his first court appearance for his arraignment wearing a suicide gown. So after he was arrested, he was on
suicide watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Franklin County Municipal Judge Stephen B. Hayes would deny Patterson bail after prosecutors said that he had threatened witnesses to the fire.
Oh, dear.
So he had stated, according to the prosecutor, he had stated that he could make at least 2 people disappear.
Oh, God. Keep your mouth
not looking
shut.
good for
Come
Patterson.
on. Not looking good
Not
for
looking
you.
good at all.
No.
Now, Robert Patterson was a drifter who had already had some run-ins with police. Patterson had a history of violent behavior starting at the age of 10.
Oh, God.
At the age of 13, he was deemed a juvenile delinquent after he threw a rock at a car from an overpass on State Route 315.
But he's got to be pretty smart, though, to be going off to university, surely, or college.
He was not a student.
Oh, okay.
He was not a student because Robert Patterson actually dropped out of high school prior to completing the 10th grade.
So he was just cruising around being an arse. Oh, God. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, according to Franklin County prosecutor Ron O'Brien, Patterson had once set fire to a mobile home his mother lived in when she kicked him out.
So he's got form. He's got previous for this.
He does.
Yeah.
Yes. In 2001, he was charged with criminal damaging, criminal mischief, littering, and underage drinking.
I love that criminal mischief. It doesn't actually sound that bad, does it? You know, if you've got criminal mischief actually sounds a bit like fun. It doesn't actually sound like a bad charge. Yeah.
No.
It's like, yeah. I'd like to see what actually is under what classifies as criminal mischief. I'd like to see that because it sounds like it's not really a very high charge.
Yeah, like how can you take that serious? Like, I just have a little mischief.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit cheeky, you know, not anything serious. Just knowing him, my mum's condo while she was still in it.
Exactly. Knowing, what we know of Patterson, criminal mischief is not probably just some,
that's right.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, at the time of his arrest, Patterson had no visible means of support other than stealing.
Oh, okay.
He had worked at Ohio State Pizza for 7 or 8 months prior to the fire, but had been fired from that job.
Yeah.
Now, coworkers at the pizza shop would describe Patterson as a heavy drinker who was easygoing but unhappy. All right.
Yeah.
Now, 10 days after being arrested and charged, Franklin County prosecutor Ron O'Brien announced that all charges against Robert Patterson had been dismissed and that he had been released from custody.
How?
Okay, listen to this. According to state law, prosecutors have 10 days to indict a suspect who had been arrested on a felony charge.
Don't tell me they let it go over.
It was the 10th day when he was released.
Oh, no.
After reviewing all of the evidence, the prosecutor's office determined that there was not enough evidence to get a grand jury indictment.
Oh, my God.
O'Brien would state that questions over the evidence had drastically changed the case against Robert Patterson, but that dismissing the charges did not mean that he had been cleared.
Okay.
Now, he would request that some additional work be done on the case with hopes of bringing charges against someone at a later time. So what that means is basically charges against Robert Patterson were able to be refiled anytime after being dismissed.
Okay.
Now, we're not exactly sure what caused Ron O'Brien to decide to dismiss the charges at the time.
Yeah.
But we do know that it is very weird. So we do know the weekend prior to the 10th day, the prosecutor's office had requested basically all the evidence that had been gathered by Columbus Police, Columbus Fire, and then the FBI, and that they had spent the weekend reviewing all of the videotapes of not only Robert Patterson's interviews with police, but also the interviews of the witnesses.
Right. Okay.
So there had to have been something within those videotapes that Ron O'Brien was not comfortable with.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, since the events of April 13th, 2003, it should not be a shock to anyone listening to learn that Robert Lucky Patterson has not kept his nose clean.
No, I wasn't really expecting him to.
No. In 2004, Patterson moved to Marietta, Ohio, which is about a 2-hour drive to the southeast of Columbus, where he would be arrested and would be given a 4-year sentence for attempted burglary and attempted felonious assault.
Okay.
Now, the assault charge was a result of an incident that occurred while Patterson was incarcerated at the Washington County Jail.
Right.
Now, in this fight, he beat a fellow inmate with a pencil sharpener that he had pulled from a wall and concealed inside a sock and a towel.
He's resourceful, that boy. God, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, in addition to that, he has had charges of disorderly conduct, intoxication. He's had menacing charges. He's had possession of drug paraphernalia charges. He has theft charges. He has contempt of court charges.
Yeah.
He has resisting arrest charges. His rap sheet just gets longer and longer.
Yeah. He's not like a one-time guy at this, is he? He's got various things, and they're all not great. They're not. It's not as if they're little misdemeanors either, is it? It's quite serious stuff going on there.
Yeah. Now, last thing that I've found on him, basically, he was eventually released from jail, and he has been on. It appears as though he's still on probation.
Okay.
And so it's been like 10 years, like 10 years probation, something crazy like that. And I don't know how hasn't had any parole violations at all since this. It's crazy. What we do know too, it's been 19 years since the fire.
God.
And 19 years since he was charged for the arson. Charges had never been brought to him again. He has never been charged for it. So
that's crazy.
For 19 years, this case has been unsolved.
And I wonder why, when they had all that evidence to start with against him, enough to like bring him in and get him arrested and go through it and to keep him, and then to just let him go. I wonder what they've got there that's could have been somebody else.
I don't know if there's anything that would state it could be someone else.
You've got witnesses that have described him to a T.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Even if they take this to trial, they have one shot at this, right?
Yeah.
They have one shot to get it right.
Yeah.
So there has to be enough reasonable doubt to say, okay, yeah, maybe he was in the area. Yeah, maybe he was stealing radios.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe maybe he did have a fight in the alleyway.
Yeah.
But how can you prove that he actually started the fire?
That's probably
now Robert Patterson. He's admitted to being there.
Yeah,
he's admitted to being there while the fire was ongoing.
Yeah,
but Robert Patterson has never admitted to starting the fire.
Okay, so you can see how. Yeah, and the witnesses haven't said that they saw him starting the fire. They've just said that he was involved in some altercation and he was there, and he's not a great guy.
Yeah.
It just so happens he has previous for lighting things on fire. But if you haven't got the hard evidence of somebody saying, yes, I saw it, or yes, there was accelerant found on his jacket, or then, that is correct. You can't, that's all they need to do is prove reasonable doubt. They don't have to prove that he did it. The what do they call it? Not the prosecution, the defense. They just have to say, is there anything that shows that he was actually there starting the fire? No. Well, then you can't say 100% he did. Yeah. There's your reasonable doubt straight away. So it's not a hard case for them.
And they could say, sure, Robert Patterson was there. But there was also 200 people at the party who were suspects. Of course. And this is a very busy area. You probably have thousands of people walking the area that night. So it could have been any one of them.
It could have been.
Just because this person was in the area, stealing, car radios, just because this person was in the area stealing car radios and was confronted and had an altercation at the party, doesn't necessarily mean that he lit the fire.
No, I mean, the thing with this is obviously when you put it all together, yes, okay, he was there stealing car radios. They know that. Yes, he had an altercation. We know that. And yes, he has previous for begrudgingly being angry and with revenge setting something on fire. So yes, he has previous for it, but yeah, you can't prove it. So it's probably a case of he probably did do it, and the police probably know he did it, but they're not going to take it to trial because it's costs a lot of money for them to just throw it straight out. The CPS here would just go, not happening, because they can prove reasonable doubt straight away. So there it is. That's your case closed, really. So yeah, see, it's like there could have been so many other people that did it, but chances are it was him because he's got motive. He's got previous. So, but then it's just that proving. If you can't prove it, it's not going to happen. Crazy.
Yeah. And what's sad is, I mean, here it's been 19 years, just over 19 years. Next year will be 20 years. How, if you haven't been able to find that one piece of evidence in 19 years, what is it going to take? What is it going to take to
Exactly, but there might not be it. The fact that nobody actually saw the fire start, nobody witnessed it. All they know is that it was just exactly all that we know is that it just went up. I mean, if this guy isn't actually friends with anybody, he was just a loner there at the party. He could well have sat on that couch, and no one would have noticed that he was sat on the couch. He could have just literally lit it alight from sitting on it and walked away. And if people are there at a party and they're all drinking and they're not really taking notice of what's going on, all of a sudden the couch is on fire. Nobody's paying attention to this dude just sat there, because he's just sat there on this couch. So that's it's quite an easy thing to do to light it on fire when you're sat in it. If no one's there looking at you, you can easily get off into the crowd and disappear.
No, absolutely.
It's crazy, isn't it? But like you say, there are 200 or other people there that are. But I mean, it happens when there's people around, doesn't it? It's not as if it's like everyone's gone to bed and then it happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I feel like there had to have been some people still lingering around.
Yeah, of course.
Even though it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that one of the neighbors, she had gotten home, I think she said 20 minutes prior to the fire. So there are people still kind of,
still awake.
Still awake and getting in.
Yeah. And this area that they live in, is it just only students? So it's not like there's normal people sort of living in the same sort of the same sort of area. There's like on the block, there'll be like 3 student houses, but then there'll also be normal family homes.
Vast majority are student
right.
housing.
Okay.
So on 17th Avenue, where they are, right down the street is basically the end of, I guess, fraternity sorority row.
Right. Okay.
So if you go down to the end of the street, that's where all the fraternities and sorority houses are.
Okay.
But there are some, I wouldn't say families. I wouldn't say families living in the area.
Okay.
If anything, there might be some, professors living in the area, or
so it wouldn't be like your family. You like a normal family would be living in the same sort of area as these houses as well. Because like we have here, we'll have the college campus where you've got or university campus where you've got people living in halls, and then normal people will like convert their homes, like you say, into flats, and they will rent out rooms in one house where you'll have maybe, I don't know, a house that's got 5 bedrooms, and it'll be 5 different students living in a shared house. But that would be maybe next door wouldn't be students. Maybe next door would be a normal family. So we don't have it where everybody lives. I mean, to be honest, when it's near a university, quite a lot of the people that own the houses will turn them into that. So it does tend to be sort of areas where there's a lot of students, but not every single household is that. So you will have like a normal family possibly living next door to a, to students. So, but the sorority and the fraternity houses, what difference is that to normal student houses? Like what's the difference? Isn't everybody in a sorority or a fraternity?
No. Not everybody's in sorority fraternity.
Because we don't have that here. So I'm just wondering what that is.
Well, there's more rules and regulation when it comes to the fraternity sorority houses.
Okay.
So they will have like a house mom or something like that. So
an adult, or
they're under, someone older. Yeah. So there's like more supervision to it.
So what's the point to that? Like, why do they have that? What is it?
Why they have fraternities and sororities?
Yeah. What's the point? What do they do?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
so what are
I don't
they?
understand.
Is it like a higher class student or something? Everybody wants to be
sometimes.
Or...
Yeah.
okay. So like students with families with money and stuff.
Yeah. For the not all of them, but yeah.
Okay.
It's just how do I describe it? I don't even know how to
I know
describe
it's
it.
weird because we don't have that here. So like I don't even I've heard of it. Like I've heard of sororities and I've heard but they're normally in like films where you've got like Mean Girls and stuff and when you've got like in Scream and stuff and someone's like there's the ditzy blonde girls that are all like in
Mhm.
one sorority and then they're mean to all the girls that are normal. So I don't
Yeah.
really I've never really we don't have that over here. But don't they do like church do they have church sororities or because I remember seeing it in there's a
There's
film
different. Yeah.
in Road Trip. They go into one, they go and stop off at a university, and the guy
Mhm.
pretends that he's in this sorority. And when he gets in there, he's a white guy, and the sororities or the fraternities all black men. So they know that he's lying and he's not part of the brotherhood from another university because he's not black.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a comedy. So that I've seen that, but
Mhm.
I didn't. So it's like a
Yeah. So
house, like houses, maybe like that kind of thing, like a
yeah. So
schoolhouse.
there's different. Yeah. There's different fraternity sororities.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find a good definition of it.
Just because like people listening in England might not have a clue what a sorority or a fraternity actually is. Or maybe it's just me being stupid, but I've never
Uh,
experienced anything like that.
Okay, individual fraternity sororities vary in organization and purpose, but most share the five common elements: secrecy, single sex membership, selection of new members on the basis of a two-part vetting and probationary
Oh,
process
okay. So
known
they
as rusting and
choose who goes
pledging.
in.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Ownership and
see.
occupancy of a residential property where undergraduates members live, a set of complex identification symbols that might include Greek letters, some sort of achievement, ciphers, badges, grips, hand signals, passwords, flowers,
It's
colors.
like a gang.
Um,
It's almost like a gang. You got an
Kinda.
initiation to get into it. You're handpicked to go in. You can't. Not anybody can join. I
Yeah.
guess there's initiations that you've got to undertake to get in. You've got symbols, or you've got like. So it is like little gangs within, but obviously like
Yeah.
legal gangs.
I could have been in a fraternity in college.
Okay.
Um, and I remember this, and I thought it was weird. I remember my dad. My dad was in a fraternity when he was in college,
What was he?
and when you have a dad that if you have a father or if you're a mother who is a fraternity, you can get in as what's considered legacy. So
Right.
I could have, if
Okay.
all my dad, he could have to make a phone call like, "Hey, I want my son in a fraternity," and I mean, I would have to go through all the the pledging and and all that stuff, but I would have
Yeah.
been in regardless, be as
Yeah.
legacy. But that wasn't me. I
You
was like, ah,
didn't
no,
know.
because I don't understand it. It doesn't make the whole process. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
I mean, it's like, yeah, you build friendships and bonds with other students, right? And these become like your close relationships during your college years.
Yeah. Sounds a bit weird to me. It sounds a bit strange. It's
And
like
no, it
a
is
little like
strange.
elite group of people that, kind of looks on other people. It kind of is like, oh, you're not in the gang, so, we're not going to talk
Hmm.
to you kind of thing. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, it's like I'm even like looking up like definitions. Like here's one, right? A fraternity or sorority is a brotherhood or sisterhood formed around common goals and aspirations. These men and women make commitment to each other for life. The members that form a fraternity or sorority share their efforts, friendships, and knowledge. Together, they learn, grow, and make the fraternity or sorority, commonly called a Greek organization, stronger. Their common experience builds ties that last a lifetime. That doesn't tell me anything,
No, it doesn't. No.
right?
That sounds to me like an underworld kind of nice way of
It is.
putting a really weird gang, a nice way of putting,
Yeah.
an
It's
explanation of a gang. And they always
yeah.
call them stupid things like Alpha, Beta, Zama or something stupid, don't they? Which don't actually mean
Yeah.
anything. It's just like they always call them. I think I'd much rather be with the uncool kids. I wouldn't want to be. I don't think I'd want to be in a sorority. I'm not that kind of girl.
Well, you think about it. I mean, depending on the college, like I would say most college students are not in fraternities,
No.
so it's
Yeah.
a minority that are joining them.
Yeah. It sounds to me like it's a cheerleader thing. Like when you get the prom queens and that kind of
Mhm.
thing. It sounds to me like that. Those like the jock and the prom queen. Sounds like the fraternity sorority kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, not for me. I'd be
Not
with
for
the
you.
not so cool kids. No. I can't be dealing with all that pledging and initiation and all that kind of stuff. I'll
No.
stick to my true crime buddies wearing black in the corner.
There you go.
We should start our own. We'll have our own
Our own
true crime.
fraternity.
Yeah, we'll have to change it though because obviously we'll have a what could we call it? Fraternity, sorority. Yeah, I suppose they both end in the same, don't they? Otherwise, we could have mixed it up and had our own. That's weird. Yeah, that's crazy. So this guy obviously didn't fit in on campus anyway because he
No,
wasn't a student. He obviously stuck
no.
out like a sore thumb because people were able to look at him and literally describe him to a T. No. So this has never been brought against him again. No one else has ever been. No. It's strange,
No,
isn't it?
not at
I
all.
think chances are he
It's very
probably did
strange.
do it, but it's just proving it, isn't it?
Yeah. You're right. Now, if there was anything positive that really came out of the fire, is there were actually been numerous scholarships, foundations that have been created in the names of the victims. All right, they include the Aaron DeMarco Scholarship, which is awarded to a student at St. Thomas Aquinas High School near Louisville, Ohio, which is in the Youngstown area.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Kyle Rowland Special Project Fund, which supports a scholarship to a senior male athlete at Lakota West High School in Westchester and provides for other projects at the school. There is the Andrea Dennis Scholarship, which is awarded to the top English student at Madeira High School near Cincinnati. Alan Schleisman, who, of course, it was his 21st birthday and everyone was there to celebrate. His family started what's called Al's Clinics, which is in honor of Alan, and provides funding for children to attend athletic clinics in the Sandusky area. And probably the biggest or the probably most well known is the Christine Wilson Foundation. Christine Wilson was a student from OU who, of course, passed away. Now, this has done multiple things. One thing that it does is it provides scholarships to a Bishop Watterson High School student, and also provides grants to children's organizations.
God, there's so much that's come from that, such a sad situation that's changed the lives of so many people following that, which is a comfort, I think, to the families to think that the death of their loved one has gone on to change the course of other people's lives for the better. That must be quite a comfort to them. Obviously, nothing makes up for them losing their family, but that's a really nice thing to think of, that it's managed to change those children's lives.
Yeah. Now, the Christine Wilson Foundation has supported several area causes, including the Nationwide Children's Burn Center, which they did commit to. They did commit to raising $500,000 for the burn center, and I think they had originally said that they were committed to raising $500,000 in 7 years, and that was. And they actually did that. I believe it was like in 2 years. And now actually in 2003, the burn center was dedicated to Christine Wilson. So now it's the Christine Wilson Burn Center at Nationwide Children's Hospital.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah. They've helped the Childhood League of Columbus, the Miracle League, the Willow Ridge Therapeutic Riding Facility. They also would do every year, and actually back in December 2021 was the 19th and final Christine Christmas. So Christine Wilson loved Christmas. And so for 19 years they actually had a I don't know, performances. So they would have local orchestras come and play, and they would have singers come. And every year they would actually, the proceeds would be given to different organizations. So I know that
that's really nice.
They provided money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
They've given money to the Special Olympics. So they've done a lot of great things.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. It always,
Absolutely.
I think I always find it really lovely when a family or people can come through such a huge tragedy and turn around their lives to keep pushing on, and to not only push on with their own lives, but also to push on and help other people live a better life and have more opportunities. I always think it's amazing when a family can turn something so horrendous into something that has got a good outcome, I think that's just really remarkable.
Yeah. And so, all these organizations, they are taking donations. And even if you don't give to one of these groups or foundations, find a local find a local organization in your area that helps support burn victims or whatever it might be, and
that's really good.
Help them out.
Yeah, that's
don't
brilliant.
It's 19 years. Next year will be 20 years. I don't think we should ever let the memories of these 5 ever fade.
No, definitely not.
And I hope something. I mean, I would hope something here in the next year comes out, and maybe we get a resolution to what happened on that night, and maybe we can find some justice for them.
I don't think it'll make things better for them. I don't think that it will, having someone say, yes, I did it. I don't think it's not going to bring back their family members. And I don't think it's going to change the course of things. So I think that obviously it will be nice to know, because then they know who did it, but they know that somebody did it. And it would be nice for them to know that that person has been brought to justice, but that shouldn't get in the way of the things that they've been doing and things that they've done. I think that should really overshadow the actual event itself, and it should celebrate those people's lives for what they actually were before they were taken away. I think that's really good.
There were 5 young adults who did nothing wrong.
No.
They were enjoying their lives. They were being young adults, and they were with their friends, and there was no reason for them to be put through what they were put through. Even the victims who made it out alive, they're victims just as much as the 5 that perished. There were victims who were in critical condition and in hospital for weeks.
That must be something that must be absolutely awful for them.
Yeah. So we had, I believe there was 16 people in the house that day, or that night when the fire started. So there's 16 victims in this at least, and they didn't deserve it.
No, definitely not.
Yep. So
well, thank you. That was a really interesting case. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to say that it was all solved and it was all done, and then and it's not.
I did, however, yeah. It's frustrating. And I remember everyone's like, "Oh, they got him. Great, got him." And I would guess that if you would ask, people that were here at the time that remember the case, I bet you a lot of them have no idea that it's unsolved. I bet you a lot of people, they remember Robert Lucky Patterson being arrested.
Yeah, and they have no idea that actually he was let off all his charges.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just hope he doesn't go on to do other things.
Yeah, well.
Unlikely, but.
Unlikely, yeah.
Okay, so shall we bring a little bit of entertainment and lightness to the end of our show?
Yes, please. How about a little dumb criminal?
Hey, Captain Stupid Poopy Pants. Use a dummy.
Well, this week's dumb criminal is a real dummy. It's a guy called Clint Butler. Now, he was a 36-year-old British man and had been away, he'd been eluding police for months after escaping from a jail in the November. Okay, so the problem was he was in hiding away from the police. He was in the West Midlands, and he had already served 14 years of a 17-year sentence for robbery with weapons possession. Now, he was caught in January 2013 in Birmingham after officers had observed him and a friend suspiciously change directions after spotting the police, which is always obviously something that you think, hang on a minute. So the officer asked him and his companion why they were in town during the lockdown, pandemic lockdown. So I'm talking about completely the wrong year. So this is 2020. So why it's January the 13th. So why they were in during the pandemic lockdown. His friend replied, "I've come to get the new Call of Duty because I just can't sit around in lockdown." Right? So the fugitive then admitted he was carrying marijuana and then gave police a fake name. So when the officer said, "We're going to run your information," he then confused the game for real and started acting like he would in Call of Duty.
Oh my God.
So they're like, what the hell are you doing? So they arrested him, obviously, back behind bars, and is now doing an extra 2 years for 1, breaking out of jail, and 2, attacking officers. So
Oh
this
my
guy
God.
only had 3 years left to serve, and he would have been out free, scot-free. So now,
Yeah.
5 years.
He could have played all the Call of Duty he wanted
Exactly.
in 3 years' time.
So he literally got caught all because he wanted to play Call of Duty. Why didn't you just send your friend out to do it? Why did you have to go? You idiot.
Oh, wait. Don't you guys have Amazon?
Well, yeah,
or something?
exactly. Yeah. Like next day delivery. Why? Why go out?
That's
And then you
insane.
see
Oh my
police and then
God.
you act like an idiot. And then not only do you like not just admit it and go back in, and you probably wouldn't have got the extra 2 years, but you then, start attacking people.
He's probably shit at the game anyways.
Probably obviously didn't do very well, did he? Idiot. So yeah. Well done, Clint Butler. You are a dummy.
Good job, Clint.
Well done. So next week, there will be no normal episode as you know it, because we will be living it up in Las Vegas. Things have changed. And then we're going to be living the life of Riley. The week after, we'll be recovering. So it might be a quiet episode. It'll be a quiet episode the week after. But yeah, we'll have one. That'll be my episode. That means I have to do some work.
You will.
I will.
Yeah, but you got time.
Yeah,
got time.
Got loads of time. So I've got a good episode for you next time. So have a lovely week, and we will have a lovely week, and we will be posting, I would imagine, quite a bit on our Instagram. So if you want to keep up with the shenanigans that are happening in Vegas at CrimeCon in Vegas, we will be doing that. We will probably do a video walkthrough on our Patreon as well. So there'll be lots of stuff on there. I'm sure we'll do some lives. I'm sure there'll be quite a few, particularly when the beer starts flowing. Or maybe there'll be a no live episode when the beers are flowing. I know what you, Bob and Captain, are like when you get together.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to make sure you're behaving.
We're good.
We're good. So we will see you next week in some form or other. If not, it'll be the week after. So for now, be nice.
And bye.